outboard and fully in the frame when you're taking your video. Other than that, I mean, we're just going to have some fun. We're going to do weigh-ins at 3 o'clock. Everybody has the number. All right, weigh-ins at 3:30. Let's go.
Hello everyone, I'm Charlie and this is Finsformation. Welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're going to be looking at the third tournament of the year with Washington Tiny Boat Nation. I didn't get a chance to pre-fish this lake, and this was also my first time ever fishing this lake, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about how I break down a new body of water and figure out where the fish are. So right off the bat, I pulled over to this point that I saw right off the launch, because I saw everybody else kind of going out to other areas of the lake, and I figured, a point is a good place to start, because you can start with deeper water and then work your way up to shallow. So the first thing I picked up was this spinnerbait. I took one cast with it, and I decided to immediately put it down because I didn't see any fish on my forward-facing sonar, and I just had a feeling that the fish were going to be up shallow because the water temperature was 65 degrees. And I had caught fish shallow in other lakes at this time with a similar water temperature. So at this point, I'm going to switch to flipping docks with a Senko. You could also throw a jig or any type of bait that's going to go up underneath that dock. And as I'm fishing up this bank, I noticed my first bed right off to the left here. And that really keyed me into what was going on this day. The fish were fully locked on beds. They were paired up, and pretty much throughout the entire lake, you could find fish on beds. This first one had a really nice female on it. It was probably a 6 or 7 pounder. It was a big fish. And then the male was about 3.5. So unfortunately here the male bit, but it was good to get the first bite of the day. Get those juices flowing, it was exciting. But this brings up a good point here, and you'll see me pause once I net this fish, because when you have 2 fish on a bed, the male's typically guarding the bed, and then when you catch the male and pull it out of the water, that female's going to come over and start guarding the bed. You can see me pause right here because I'm looking at that big 6 or 7 pound female. And I thought about putting this fish in the net and trying to fish for it, and then I was like, probably not. I'm just going to let it go. This is just an interesting point, because had I had a live well, I could have boxed the male here and probably would have caught the female. But I didn't. I released the male and I carried on my way. This brings me to one of the things that I really like about this club is the system we use for weigh-ins. So we use a video system where you catch the fish and you start a video showing you zeroing out your scale, followed by weighing the fish with the entire fish in the frame of the video. Then you take a picture of the fish on a bump board to make sure it's over 12 inches, and you release the fish. At the end of the day, they tally up the videos with the weights and record them. This is great because it's good for the fish. It's good for conservation, especially in the situation that you see in this tournament here, where a lot of the fish were caught off beds. It raises the chances of these fish living to reproduce. Unfortunately, with live wells, especially ones on small boats like we have in this club, the fish might not make it. They might make it for weigh-in and release, and they'll swim away, but there's a delayed mortality. Taking the fish away from the bed for too long also leaves it open for other predators like bluegill, perch, what have you, to eat the eggs off the bed. So At the time of this video being filmed, live wells were allowed as an option in our club, but since the rule has been changed and now it's just the video and picture method. I think this is great. Again, one of the things that I really like about this club. That first fish was a 348 and this next one's a 352. It's kind of reminiscent of the last tournament I fished where I caught a couple 3-pounders back to back. But on this day, it was going to take a lot more than 3-pounders to win this tournament because a lot of big fish were caught. I think it just had to do with the fact they were on beds. You could see them, you could target them, and a lot of big bags were caught this day. A lot of bags over 10 pounds for a 3-fish limit. You can see me here doing the video method by myself. It's kind of difficult to do, but it's doable. I just set my phone up there on my graph and then turn the camera around so it faces me and film the whole process of zeroing the scale and weighing the fish. But yep, there's 2 on the board within the first couple hours. So I was feeling pretty good at this point. It was also a beautiful day out. It was the hottest day of the year so far. It was just really nice to be out there on the water. So even though I knew they were on beds, I was still making blind casts and fishing like normal because it just raises your chances of catching more fish. Right here, I'm throwing the Cinco into some isolated lily pads. Ended up catching this little guy. He wasn't going to help. But this day, I caught 8 fish, and that's a great day in my book. You know, anytime I catch more than 1 fish, it's a good day. That's just how it goes for me. You know, bed fishing isn't my favorite thing in the world. I don't fully agree with targeting the fish when they're that vulnerable and putting pressure on them when they're trying to reproduce. I don't think it's the best thing for our lakes. However, there definitely is something to watching a bass swim up to your lure and just pick it right up off their bed and swim away with it. First sandwich break of the day while going under the bridge. You know, this area of the lake was super quiet and peaceful at this time of the morning. So I hung back there for a little while. Didn't manage to catch any more back in that pocket, but I did see more on beds that I would come back to later. I know there's smallmouth in here. I haven't seen any. Oh, did you? Okay. Right on. Okay. Yeah, both of mine were largemouth, like dirt shallow. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, the couple that I caught, I kept those in the net till I reviewed the video. Dude, I'm not making that mistake again. That was... Yeah. Yep. That was Ian and Corey, a couple of great dudes. And they ended up taking second place in this tournament, so congrats to them. This club has a lot of great people in it. I've really been enjoying talking to everyone and getting to know them. I had to add this in the video. I mean, come on, dude. What are you guys doing? Really? All right, well, moving on. Hate to see this happen. Yep, time to retie. You can kind of see the bed there right in front of the boat, the lighter spot in the water. I was throwing a Kitech and hopping it over this fish's bed, and it was pissing it off. The thing about bed fishing is when you hit a certain point on the bed, sometimes the fish will not react until the bait touches that point, and then they'll take it. That was the case for this one. I kept swimming it over the top and it wouldn't do anything, but when I would swim it and then stop it right over this stick that was in the middle of the bed, it would strike it. Yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. 1976. Yeah, it's my great grandpa's. Most people on the water are friendly as long as they're not cutting right in front of you while you're trying to fish a spot. That bass was 3.08 pounds, and it ended up being my third fish for my 3-fish limit. I didn't end up coaling for the rest of the day, so my limit at the end of the day was 10.08 pounds. I ended up finishing 10th place out of 19 boats. That's not too shabby. First place ended up catching an 8-pounder, and their bag I think was close to 17 pounds, so congratulations to Omar, Bass Bros, and Cruz. Those guys freaking killed it. This bed that I'm flipping at now was the first smallmouth of the day that I saw. I knew they were in here, especially after talking to Ian and Corey. It just sounds like the bigger ones were a little deeper in the water than the one up here on the bed. I think it was a little past time for the smallmouth bedding in the lake since the largemouth had already moved up. By watching this footage back and making videos, I learn a lot about my own fishing. What I've learned from this time around was I kind of caught myself fishing for fun here. You know, every time I would see a bed, I just had to fish for it, you know, and in hindsight, I probably should have been scoping around for bigger fish on beds to cull, but I got a little distracted. I mean, I just love fishing, guys, so when I see a fish, I can't help it. This was a pretty decent smallie. I ended up deciding to weigh it and take a video just in case one of my other videos didn't come out, like you couldn't see the weight on the scale or something. So I thought it would be good to have a safe backup just in case that happened. This is another thing I learned from the last tournament when I had that mishap weighing in the fish and the video wasn't recording. I decided to do that backup video with that smallmouth just to have some insurance. $2.13. You can see here I pull forward and put this fish right back on the bed that I pulled it off of. This is part of that conservation I was talking about earlier, guys. I dropped that fish right down on its bed and it swam down and stayed right there. These fish, when they're in bedding mode, that's what they're doing. Nature takes over. That's all they're focused on. That one on the corner got caught already? Oh, shit. All right. Back over that way? Yeah, yeah. They are, man. Yeah, just having a little chat with those guys. I had seen a bigger fish on a bed earlier right where they were sitting, and I asked them if it had been caught, and they said, yeah, they probably were fishing for it too, and it had already been released. That was the thing, is this lake is a decent size, but I bet a lot of these fish got caught multiple times. Like I said earlier, guys, just having fun at this point. I kept seeing fish on beds and I just kept casting at them, and I was having an absolute blast. Probably should have been scoping around for some bigger fish, you know, but the day was coming to a close and I had already heard from a couple other people that there were some big bags caught. So I would have had to catch a monster in order to get first, second, or third place. So at this point, just having a great time, enjoying the nice weather, and catching some bass. You. 2.5.
Huh?
2.5.
Oh, huge. God, I thought it was a Mondo.
No.
That's crazy.
It got like 1.5 feet of air though.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We knew you were working one.
Yeah, it's not gonna help. I can't find any of the big ones.
Dude, we've been doing laps.
Yeah.
I think they're just so pressured right now. And I haven't caught anything under docks. Like, I thought that dock skipping game was gonna be it. We haven't done it.
All my fish have been beds or just up in the
open.
well, no, up in the thick stuff too.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
punching it all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like 3 2-pounders hanging out right over there.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool pontoon boat. We were really admiring it last time we were out here.
Yeah. I might try to get in a little bit before 3 to avoid the craziness.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing just that. I went in 20 minutes early and loaded the boat up, put everything away, and got ready for weigh-in. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, and share the video. Also subscribe. If you guys are enjoying these tournament videos, the Moses Lake tournament's coming up. It's a 2-day one, so I might make a video for that one if you guys are liking it. Might just do it anyways because I enjoy making these videos. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks again for watching.